guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Anna and I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're playing with the Ornate palette from Colourpop. This is in their Dark Blooms collection. I managed to get my little paws on this one at my local Ulta, but I did order one of the sets from the website, so that will be coming soon. I found this one at Ulta and I loved it. This was the one that I was most excited about because I love this color story. You know I love these kind of colors. I don't care if I have them multiple times over. I love it. There's actually some unique shades within this palette and some pretty nice duochromes, and it's a little bit more than what meets the eye. So yeah, this is the look I created with the palette and I love it. It came out beautifully. It was very easy to create, and yeah, if you want to see how I got this look and hear my thoughts on the Ornate palette from Colourpop, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know which palette from the Dark Blooms collection were you most excited about. Let's get into the makeup. The palette today, we have the Ornate palette from Colourpop. This is the only one I could find in store at my local Ulta, but I have ordered the cool tone one. I can't remember what it's called, but I have ordered that one. But I love this Dark Blooms collection. I think it's so beautiful. I cannot think of the name of the other one, but anyways, so I got that one. I bought the little, actually the kit of it with the lip and the blush. So that should be here sometime within the week, who knows. I do have the Ornate one. I found this at my local Ulta. This is about $14, I believe. And this is the other one that I actually wanted in the collection, which is the warm tone one with the reds and just beautifulness in this mustard color. These are like just shoved in a corner at my Ulta on like the sample display when you go to check out. My Ulta's not real up on stocking things. Yeah, so their Colourpop display had the garden variety stuff still out and it was basically empty. The packaging on this is just absolutely stunning. This is the kind of artwork I love, like for decorating around my house, and it's just my style. I love that there's little pansies in here. It's so pretty. I love pansies. And it is the soft touch packaging, which I also enjoy. It's very much similar packaging to the Hocus Pocus collection, with the differences in textures where there's some parts that are raised and shiny. And then of course you have the font here, and it's a nice warm gold. It's just very pretty. I mean, it's beautiful. And you got the shade names on the back as well as on the inside. There's no mirror, but it's fine with me. Then you have this nice soft, like, matte gold background. And yeah, the shades are gorgeous. You have, what we have, 3 shimmers, 1 kind of a sparkly matte shade, and it looks really similar to the one that is in the Hocus Pocus palette with the glitters in it, the black in it. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get started. I've already primed my eyes and did my brows, obviously. My new Eugene Levy brows, because I tinted them and now they are large and in charge. I have thick brows, but they are just incredibly blonde and you can't see them, so I tint them and then that's like, whoa, where do these eyebrows come from? Let's just go ahead and jump in. I have got a Morphe M441 I'm going to start with. For the transition and socket, I think I'm going to go in with Siren first, which is that mustard tone. I'm going to try to use a good bit of the shades today and just kind of see what they do. I jumped in here for my look on Halloween. I used like a couple of the shades, but not really use them. So we get a little first impression here, a little review. I am very familiar with Colourpop's formula at this point and kind of know what to expect from their products, and I feel confident enough to give a full review at this point with their eyeshadows. So I'm going to go ahead and start like right here in the transition. It's a nice warm mustard. Yep, I love these kinds of shades. I feel like Colourpop does them very well. I haven't met a Colourpop eyeshadow that I was just really disappointed in though, in all fairness. But I'm going to bring this pretty high and blown out in the transition socket line. Yeah, that's very nice. Let's see if we can build her a little. I mean, the pigmentation's good as it is, but this does seem to be quite buildable where you could get it fairly vibrant to look as it does in the pan. I'm always impressed when Colourpop does like a mustardy tone or a yellow eyeshadow. They do great on them. Not every brand does. I had to go shut the door. My husband's on a Zoom meeting. Let's see if you hear some talking kind of muffled in the background. My husband's actually on a Zoom call, meeting, class thing. On his day off, 8-hour class over Zoom. Okay, I'm just gonna blow that out. Good bit. Alright, I'm gonna jump over to my little Sigma double-ended brush. It's just right here on top because I've been using it. And I just cleaned it off. I'm gonna use the diffuse crease. And I think I'm gonna go into Charisma, which is the kind of orangey red kind of a muted orangey red. And I'm going to bring that just a little bit lower into the crease, socket line, transition, whatever you want to call it. Just following my bone shape here and not the actual structure of my lid skin. So did everyone have a good Halloween? And are we excited about Thanksgiving this year, or are we just skipping it and going straight to Christmas? I kind of just want to like start putting my Christmas decorations out. I know, why? What? That's so not me. I don't know why. I just want that nice happiness of Christmas right now. Okay, this is coming off a nice muted orange. It looks really good over top of that yellow. I think on its own it's going to be a little bit more muted and red toned, but since it's kind of mixing in with that yellow, it's looking really pretty. Very much like a fallen leaf. This is like a really good fall palette. I wish this had been out when I did my fall eyeshadow palette collection or picks, because this would have been definitely in it. And I feel like that blue tone one's gonna be so pretty for winter time. I'm just gonna build this up a little bit. This is so far I'm into it. I might dip just a touch back into our yellow shade, which is called Siren, and come right around that edge just to make sure it's still visible and kind of blend that. Grab the LA Girl 2.8 brush. It's kind of those flat, fluffy situations that I like. And I'm gonna go into Rival now, which is the more, it looks more like a cranberry in the palette, but when I swatch it, it does pull quite warm red. So go ahead and just take that, and I'm gonna run that. It's like a maroony burgundy type of shade. A little bit lower still. And just kind of concentrate it a little bit right into that socket and crease. Ooh yeah, that's pretty. It does have a little bit of pink in it, but not much. It's like a brick red, you know, like a lipstick color. And that's blending really effortlessly into the other shades. So I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe we'll just take a touch more charisma, just right this outer part. Just make sure that gradient is smooth. I love a nice smooth gradient. It's my thing. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade called Shh and kind of start to build that on the outer corner. It's a little bit more muted burgundy, a little bit deeper, a little bit more cool in comparison. Just kind of tuck that right out here. That looks really nice. I like that shade. These are the kind of reds I like because they don't turn pink when you blend them out. I'd rather them go a little more orange. Alright, I'm gonna go catch the other eye up and be right back. Okay, so let's see about these shimmers now. I'm kind of excited about those. One is a beautiful duochromatic kind of light gold, where it has a very beautiful kind of orangey warm shift in it, and then a yellow gold. It's really pretty. I think it's a gorgeous shade. It's almost like a gold that shifts to rose gold in a way, which is very warm. That is called Gilded. Then we have Bohem, which is a kind of shifting orangey shade. It's orange shifts more towards a pink. And then there's Fever, which is kind of the deeper version of it and just more of a straight up orangey shimmer with some little micro glitters in it. It looks like very pretty. I like the shimmers in this are very nice. So I'm gonna take, I think, Fever first and pop that on kind of right here. We'll do a little gradient fading into the lightest shade. So I'm gonna take a flat brush and I'm gonna go into Fever initially. Pop it right here. These are applying pretty good without a wet base too. I might dampen the brush just to get a little more oomph out of it. That is quite effective with Colourpop shadows. So it does kind of shift a little bit though. It's very pretty tone, especially dampened. That has a really nice vibrancy to it. I'm gonna pat it and let it flow into the outer corner. Let's go into Bohem now. I'm just gonna take it on the damp brush as well. And I'm gonna put more on this inner portion. Yeah, see that one comes off a little bit brighter, a little more golden. And then it kind of shifts almost into the shade of Fever. Very harmonious palette. It's a nice monochromatic vibe going on here. And I'm digging it. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that. This shade is almost like a duochrome between Gilded and Fever. Like it kind of just marries both shades. Very pretty unique tone. I don't think I have it in any other palettes, so that's pretty cool. Because, you know, you end up with a lot of overlap when you got a lot of palettes, but I have not seen any overlap really with anything aside from that black shade. being similar to the Hocus Pocus one. But like how the light catches that shade and just bam, it's so bright. Okay, now let's take Gilded. Taking on with the wet brush. I'm wiping the brush off in between shades. And I'm gonna bring Gilded right in here. I'm gonna pull it like that. Let it hug these other shades. I think that looks pretty when there's like that little bit coming up. Look how bright that color is. Oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. I think this one performed pretty well on a dry brush. I just kind of like the control of the wet brush or a damp brush. Alright, take a little bit more green. Make sure everything is flowing together. Very nice. Alright, I'm gonna jump over to the medium sweeper from Sigma. I think I'm gonna take just a little bit of Tipsy, which is the brown. I'm gonna just deepen up right here on this very outer part. I think if you got all three palettes, you would have a lot of versatility because you could jump in between them. But I don't think you're gonna get a lot of versatility out of this particular palette. It'll just come down to just placement of your shades, creating the versatility, but the color story is gonna overall be pretty similar. And Colourpop does some lovely matte shades. Okay, I'm taking just a little bit and just patting it right there. Let that kind of flow into Fever. All right, cool. I don't have a I don't have a whole lot of fallout, which is nice, just a little bit right here. So I'm going to take a little liner brush now and I'm going to jump into that black shade, which I'm going to end up a lot of fallout if I do this part, and I'm going to use it as a liner. I'm just going to start by patting it along the lash line. I don't think any of the shimmers are going to show necessarily, but I like the option of having a black in there despite it being a shimmery, like a glittery one, because it's something I can use as liner. And I don't know, I love a good black eyeshadow. I wish they'd just give up on that formula. Honestly, like, I don't mind it because it just performs like a matte, but you know, if you're gonna put the glitter in there, at least put it in like a Super Shock formula or something to where the glitters will actually do something. I mean, they're just pretty look at the pan, but that's about it. I know you can put them on with a finger, but who's really doing that with just the black eyeshadow? Unless you're doing like a super smoky eye, which I have done, it looks cool, but that's once in a blue moon kind of look. I want these shimmers to be there all the time. And you know, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of one. I'm like trying to pat it on to get it to show and pulling it down. I don't even see them as fallout. And that ever so slightly. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this little bit of fallout I have, go ahead and do the rest of my face, and we're back to do the lower lash line, finishing touches, and final thoughts. Okay. And we're back to do the lower lash line. I went ahead and just did my mascara on my upper lashes, touched up brows, and did the whole face situation. For blush, I used a combination of the Melt Digital Dusted Blush in Buzzkill, and I paired that with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Spicy. On lips, it's just a lip liner, and mascara is Essence Lash Princess. Is that everything? Oh, and in my waterline, I popped a little bit of the Colourpop BFF Gel Liner in Punch, which is the yellow. So that looked pretty, kind of just right in the waterline under there. And let's move on the lower lash line. Oh, and highlighter is e.l.f. Metallic Flare in White Gold. I'll take my trusty little Morphe 152 here, my favorite lower lash line brush. I'm going to go with Tipsy first. On one side of the brush, this is the brown shade. And I'm going to run that. I can't see to my lower lash. I have to have my mirror right here. And try to keep it eye frame. I'm just going to run it real close and let that kind of flow into that wing. I'm trying to use almost like every shade in the palette basically on my eyeballs. This is a really nice brown, by the way, nice warm brown. Today is such a noisy outside day. There's still roofs being repaired from the hurricanes going on, and people are mowing their yards Monday afternoon. Okay, let's take Charisma next. I'm gonna do this kind of same technique on the one side of the brush and bring it just a little lower, kind of blow that out some. I think I'll take just a little bit of Siren. Same brush, I've kind of knocked it off or brushed off on my pants leg because I'm professional. And I'm gonna scrunch my eye up and just go across there and just kind of do a little more blending. Let's take that little brush I used for the liner. I'm gonna clean it off, and I'm gonna take Gilded and pop it right here in the inner corner. Just let it kind of flow over just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of Tipsy on that same brush and just pop it right here. Just that inner corner to elongate it ever so slightly. I think I'm gonna dip in this brush and then take a little bit more of Gilded That'll work a little bit better. Okay. I'm just gonna wrap it like around that darker shade, and it kind of helps soften it up just a bit and make everything just kind of flow. All right. Let me go back to my big blending brush here and just finish off. Take just a little bit of Siren, ever so slightly, and just gonna blend that around. Make sure this inner part's blended. I'm knocking most of the pigment off before I do this step. Okay, and we're done. I'm gonna fix my hair, put on a lip, and we'll be right back in just a second. Okay, and here is the look all complete using the Ornate palette from Colourpop. Yeah, on the lips, I went with Paradise Lost from CoverGirl Melting Pout Matte Lips. These things, I'll show it on the screen, is Melting Pout Matte and Paradise Lost. I just thought a nice deep chocolatey brown would look good with this because this is some hella fall vibes we got going on, but it's still technically fall. It's November, so yeah. Anyways, Ornate palette. It's a good one. I like it. I definitely really like it. Yeah, of course you got one of those sequiny shades with the glitters in it that's matte that doesn't really do a whole lot. I don't know why Colourpop keeps putting them in palettes because they don't really perform that well, but they basically function as a matte and that's fine. You're gonna get a few twinkles on your face. You can just dust them off. Not a big deal. You can apply them with your finger, and if you're doing like a super smoky eye, this one would be awesome because it does have really pretty like red and gold glitters in it, and they're very micro, fine, small sparkles. They just don't really show when you use a brush. Other than that, the 3 shimmer shades in here are beautiful to them, have a nice dual chrome to them, and everything's just very harmonious and just plays together so beautifully. It's very monochromatic fall goodness in this palette. You could easily get a look that was more red based rather than the orangey shades, but you know, depending what combination you pair, but you're not going to get a ton of versatility out of this one. That's just the nature of the beast of this, you know, type of color story. Looks are going to be similar. It's just come down to placement, and like if you probably just went in with these two, you get a whole nother type of look. But again, it's not like gonna be like, you know, your one-stop shop palette unless you just really love these kind of colors. But they performed beautifully as usual. Colourpop's eyeshadow formula has not disappointed me yet. I find them to be very comparable to high-end eyeshadows in performance. The price is basically unbeatable because they're so affordable, and they perform beautifully, and they're very pigmented and rich and just easy to use. They're easy. So yeah, I think this palette is great. I think it retails for about $14. I'll put the price on the screen, obviously, and some information about the palette. But yeah, I don't think you'll be disappointed if you like this color story. In the coming days, I will have one using the cool toned palette from the Dark Blooms collection. I got the little kit with the blush and everything, so we'll be doing a whole video about that. But anyways, this one I just found at my local Ulta and wanted to play with it. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye now.